Welcome. Good evening, audience. So we are back after some bit of a delay due to some immune system outage of Sven, and also a few minutes ago there was some other power outage at Sven's location. So we hope we will be stable today. And yeah, I'm really happy to have you here again because I remember when. I think we first met almost 10 years ago, I would say, somewhere in Mainz at some WebTech con or so. And then you were part of a meetup in Frankfurt, seems a long time ago before Corona. And yeah. And now I'm happy to have you here again and hopefully in person at some point in time.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And before we start, some few words. So Sven is pretty much known in Germany for his CSS enthusiasm, also around performance issues, and well-known speaker at many conferences. And and related to this, we have has-selector as our media partner today. So maybe you know them mostly from their magazine called CT Magazine, pretty old one. They are already, I think doing this for I would say 30 years or so, and they placed I think a big tower of their old issues in the office location. I'm a big fan of this magazine. It's a really cool one. And they are also running the CT Web Dev conference. Some parts will be in German, I think mostly, and some parts in English. And Sven is also a speaker there. So if you have time and also want to go there, of course, I think there are still tickets left, but you can also buy streaming tickets. And if you had a chance at our raffle, we did online a few days ago, maybe you are one of those winners for a free ticket, or you just use the discount we announced in our meetup community several times before. And like I said, we'd like to go back into a real meetup atmosphere soon again, and you can already save the date. And if you're living in the RheinMain region, you can save the date of the 24th of November, where we will meet at AOE in Wiesbaden, and have a nice evening and with nice catering and stuff like this. Really looking forward to this. More details will be announced soon by us. So follow us on Meetup, Twitter, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And with that, I would say we can start. You can post your questions in the chat all the time, and we will pick it up in the Q&A part later. I think that's all from my side. Enjoy the session with Sven, and the stage is yours.
So yes, welcome. As Jan said, my name is Sven Wolfermann, mostly known as Mehmet Designs in the Twitter sphere, or maybe in the other sphere around there. And I thought we had a lot of coming to the browser, what's new in CSS land. And so I collected a few things and will tell about this today. So we had a lot of so-called things in the past that we can use today. So we can use CSS grids. This is, I think, we had this since nearly 5 years. CSS grids came in browsers in 2017, and so on and so on. We had custom properties back then. This is stable now. We can use it, and I think most of us use using CSS custom properties these days, and lots other things that are already there and stable in browsers today, like scroll snap, logical properties, and graphical things like mask and clip path, blend modes, and so on and so on. And that's already there, and maybe for some of you a bit new, but this is the old stuff. Today we are talking about the new stuff, which are in the browser since last year, maybe this year, and maybe coming this and next year. So this year we got stable gap property for flexbox, and this is what we had in CSS grid, and now we can use gap in flexbox too. This is a property making some space between the flex items. Yeah, if you already know it from the CSS grid, you can use it in flex 2 today. So I think we had, before 6 months or so that all browsers got stable and green, and now we can use it. Maybe if you had to support some older browser, wait a little bit, but I think next year you can use it for all the current browser. So this is a little demo. So I'm comparing here the CSS grid layout with a similar flexbox layout, and you can see here these gaps between these items. Yeah, they are empty here. The white parts does look the same if you have grid implementation or flexbox implementation. So nothing special here, just a little gap property. This maybe you know it as the grid gap property, but this shorthand, I will call it, or the newer property is called gap, and you can use it inside grid layout and inside the flexbox layout. So just a little opening, you can use it today, and long-awaited property is stable now in all modern browser. I will tell you about some little properties, some special properties at the beginning, and we are talking about the newer, greater features a little bit more. But here is the next one. This is aspect ratio, also a long-awaited property for browsers. If you remember this hacky way to ensure the aspect ratio box, so that is maybe for responsive video or something else, that you can be sure that always the same aspect ratio is between all the viewports. You had to write a lot of, maybe you call it hacky code in the old days. But today we have the newer version, the newer aspect ratio property, and you can use it like this, that you only, as you would say, define the aspect ratio, by example 16:9, the width, length, and the height. Or you can use a digital unit here. This is also possible. A little, but so-called great addition to the CSS in browsers. So I have another example here in the code pen. So I'm only using here some click events to show that the property works for this box here. So this is important, not only for, as I told you, for the video hacks that we are using for iframes. It is also in browsers embedded in the user style sheets now for images, so that you can be sure that the images are placed properly. And this is inside in the user agent style sheets, in the internal user agent style sheets. But you have to set the height and width for the images so that the browser can read these properties and making the box for the aspect ratio for the time the image is loading. So 2-3 more examples of this. What if we would combine aspect ratio with the object fit property? Some image examples. We are making a container or an image with a defined aspect ratio. This is 1:1, so square. This is 4:3, so usual image format. So, and as you can see, it's always the same image, but is displayed to all the edges with the object fit property. So you can cover this space, or with the next examples, you have to say this is containing inside the box. So what would happen, you can fill the space for the desired aspect ratio, or you can place the image is placed inside this box and positioned in the center. That's the default. And you have to but you can always decide what effect do you want for this. So this is also possible. Okay, next one, just a little addition here, and a little note. The conic-gradient is a new gradient we got. So as an example, here are some links for the code pen. I can share the links and the talk later on. But here you can see it as an fancy example with a gradient border. This is just a demo here with a div container, and as we are using the gradient in the border image here. So this is like other gradients. You can use some colors and stock color points. And for this example, if I remove this here, does it update? Yes. Is the same. Yes. Okay. Here the image is 2rem. The border is 2rem, with a solid color, and I'm overriding it with the gradient here, and so we have a fancy color gradient. This is also possible. We can have dashed borders, which are made of the conic gradient here. So this is a little bit more code, but as you can see, we are using here custom properties. So if I change it, you can see, no, that's not that. good example. And here we are using the yellow color as more fancy. So a lot of possibilities here to come, and newer features with the conic-gradient. We can using the pie chart stuff. I want to say that's an example which is not available, but also not all features are available here in this screen. The conic-gradient is available in this browser. I'm using the Firefox here at this moment. This works, but I want to animate this, and this is not possible here in the Firefox version. It's possible in Chrome. So if you're opening this link in a Chromium browser, you can see that the pie chart is animating and can be animated in the future with the Houdini support. But as a simple example, using as just an only CSS only pie chart, it is possible today in all the browsers, but not animated in all browsers. So only Chrome with animation support. But as you see here is everything possible. It's a solid fill here, the circle, or we can cut out some inner spaces, which is done with mask. Everything is possible today in a browser. So next, just a little topic is here the text decoration. Text decoration got a more property for the longhand, so-called. The text decoration color is new, and the text decoration thickness is new. And we can also set the text underline offset. So what is the text underline? You know it if you have some links or something else where you can use the text underline. This was in the past only possible with solid lines or dotted lines, but only with the same color. The color feature is not so new. Color work for every browser since years nowadays. But the newer features are really the thickness of the border, the underline in this case, and the offset. As you can see here, we're making this one a little bit thicker, and this one more space from the text. So, and the nice one is that you can animate this property too. So if you hover here, you can have other styling for the hover or focus effect. So this is not only possible with the gradients or something in the background. So you can use it with the underline property these days too. So just a small addition, but I think we can see a lot of possibilities from these properties these days. So, and another short property these days, short presentation about the new property. This is the pseudo class focus visible. So this is selector is useful for providing different focus indicator based on the user's input. So a lot of developers and designers had some issues with the focus pseudo element styling. And nowadays we can divide these mouse interactions and the keyboard interactions and can style it differently. So if a user is using a keyboard, you can make the focus more prominent, and if a user using a mouse, you can make it not so fancy, not so funny, or not visible, but I think that's an accessibility issue if you remove the focus styles. So here a little example. So this is a focus visible styles here. If I'm using the keyboard here, I'm using the tab key, focusing this button. This button is only the default styling in this browser. So if I'm using the mouse clicker, nothing fancy happens, no focus styles. So only for keyboard usage, the focus style are added, and that's I think long-awaited feature, and nowadays it is on all browsers available. Sorry. So what these are some of the small additions, little additions, but also powerful. But more stuff is coming soon-ish, or maybe some browsers supports it today, and we are getting the has parent selector. So maybe if you had seen this before or hear about this, this is the so-called parent selector with the has pseudo class. You can select based on the child elements. So you can have a selector like this, where the class CSS has new stuff, and this is everything possible. If the CSS container has an element that is called new stuff, you can style it, and that's a great addition to the browsers today. So this is a more visible example here, just a div container as example with the class CSS, and we can have custom elements these days, call a container new stuff. And so if the CSS class has a child with the element name new stuff, make the background color of the CSS container deep pink. So, and this, I will show you a picture here, but I'll switch my browser in a second. And this is not available in all browsers, but in some browsers. Safari in the version 15.4 shipped support. So we are 16 now, 16.1, I think. And the Chromium-based browsers, so the Chrome Edge, shipped this feature with version number 105. And I think soon we're getting support in Firefox too. So if I switch, so here, two more. Sorry. If I switch here in this browser, this is a live demo of this feature. So switching back, but I switched. Now I can stay a moment here in this Edge browser. So this is a small problem today, that I had to switch some browsers because some of the features aren't in all browsers, but we're getting there. So another simple has example is if you want to style a figure element based off the content. So maybe there is a simple image in there, or there is an image with a fig caption. We can style it depending if the figure has a fig caption. So this is a little example. So the figure element selector here, if this figure element has a child which is a fig caption, we want to make the background white and the padding around it. So this is a live example here. So this is the element with the fig caption, so with a additional text here, and this is the normal one. So just a simple example how you could use it today. So some more examples. I don't want, you can imagine all the possibilities that we are getting, and maybe there are a lot of more possibilities we cannot imagine today. So some examples, if an anchor element has images, style it, or has direct child, so this everything possible, or the other way around, matches section element that don't contain figure elements, or section that don't has figures. So you can use it for styling differently. And some special one, what will really handy is for form elements. If you have a form and a form item element which has user invalid fields or states. So user invalid is an is a state if an element or a form field, form input is not valid. So you can style the label or something else, the background or the border or what you can imagine differently. So in this example, if a form item has invalid user input, make the label of the form item container red. So and for sure you can make the input and some other elements also red, or style it differently based on the user input, and if the browser tells this is a valid or an invalid input. And that is really great because we don't have to use JavaScript for this in the future. So, and what is also special and great about the has pseudo class is that the selector list of has is forgiving. And forgiving means if some of these selector items, selector items isn't there, so invalid, but one of these is valid, the whole selector chain is valid. And we had some issues in the past where some pseudo selector change were invalid and the whole chain were invalid too. And this means this means this has selector is forgiving, that you can add here more and more selector parts, but if only one matches, the whole everything matches and works as it's expected. Yeah. So, but has a specificity too, like the not pseudo class. So if one of these selector have higher specificity, the whole chain raises the specificity too. So yeah, we had more and more examples, but we have a lot of more properties and more features to come in the next few months or already there. And another one is the subgrid feature. Subgrid is also long-awaited feature. Imagine you had a grid container with the CSS property display grid, and you want to style the children grids or the children elements based on the parent column definition or the row definition. So this is possible also in some browser. We are getting this, I hope so, this year in all browsers. And we are missing this feature in Chromium. Chromium is working on this, but not there. And so we have this feature to test in Firefox or Safari. So subgrid means, as you can see, we had a grid container with a display grid definition, and we are having I want to switch to the code pen here. We had in one grid item another container called the subgrid container. So, and this is this one here. Contains also some sub items, and as you can see, this demo here I'm still in the Microsoft Edge here on a Chromium browser, and this example is broken. So I want to switch to Firefox again. So we are here in the live demo. This one works in this browser, and I want to explain a little bit of this. So imagine you have a grid with columns and rows. This is a specific grid with different columns, different sized columns. Here we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns with different sizes here. And inside this container, we had another grid. So I want to remove this for now. So this is the example without the subgrid feature. So this doesn't work. So what would we do these days? So we style it maybe like this. So with the children, and we can set up a new grid and a new column definition. And as you can see, this new definition doesn't really match the parent definition. So maybe we can fake it a little bit. So if we define these column spacings again, but it is not the same, and it will not be the same if we position the subgrid on a different grid track or grid cell. So the solution for this is we are getting subgrid keyword where we can inherit the definition from the parent. So as you can see, the first definition was for the columns. So here it is exactly positioned on the grid tracks and the grid columns and also on the grid rows. So if we So as you can see, I can define something different for the rows, but want to use the definition of the parent subgrid, of the parent grid as subgrid. So this is all possible. So another great addition to the browsers, but we have to wait for Chrome. But if we get the support for Chrome, all browsers support it, and I think the adoption of the Chrome updates are really high. Yeah, and the next topic is also long feature baking in the browsers, and they are telling us no, that is not possible. Their race conditions is not performant in layout engines, and now it is possible, and we got it in some browsers. The container queries. Yeah, I think you heard already of the term and the feature container queries, and this is what developers wanted for years, where we can style some elements, some containers based on the surrounding content, on the parent content, and not only on the viewport dimensions. So this is a really great feature today in some browsers. So a little image to visualize this, brought here by the Ahmed in the web, where the left side, where you can see the media query, where we asked what size the viewport has, or which height, and nowadays we can style the components or the elements that we want to style based on the surrounding container, and can use some elements and some components in different places, and it just works as we expected. So how do we define these container queries? I'll give a little example here. We have a media object, element, component, whatever, where this is a grid with a grid template definition. Yeah, and if we want to use this container, this component in another box, another layout, whatever, in another container which is larger than 35 amps. And amps means of the font size of this container. Then we want to lay out the grid container differently. So this is a shorthand here, a really fancy longhand of the grid template definition. But as a small example, the important part is this one here, add container as the new container query definition. And this is a sizing definition one. When do we want to style the container or the element differently based on the size of the surrounding box. So, and we have to define some little properties more. So if you had the chance to play with the implementation in Chrome behind the flag, there was the first draft where you define the contain colon inline size, and nowadays we had to define the container type property, and the inline size, the type stays the same. Inline size means the width, so based on the reading direction or the direction of the writing, it is inline or blocked. So the logical property here I'm using, but you also can use the width property or the height or something else you want to match against. So small example, also again, you have a H2 headline with a font size, and if the container is larger than 40 in, you can make, or you're making, we are making the font size larger here in this example. So this is the reference here, the container type for the container, and in this case, the main or the aside container. And so the container checks against these two elements here, if it fits or if it's not enough space in there. So this is the container type. So, and container name, you can also have a name for this container, and in this case we are using two elements here, the main and the side. So both of these getting the container name layout here, and you can define the container against this container name in this example here, layout. So maybe at not only the main the side element, maybe you have some div container or classes that more often on the page. So you can specify a name for every container that you are measure against the size or the height or what else. And so you can define, and you're writing a name, and so the container at container query against the name and the size, and define what the grid should look like. So this is another possibility for these containers. And not that we are getting a lot of container queries, we are getting container units. So like the viewport units, we are getting container units that equals the containers width or height. So this one is the container query width 1%, or maybe you know it from the viewport width, VW, the VH, and so on and so on. And this is another great feature there, where I have to switch my browser again to the Edge browser, which supports the container queries and the container units. So I'm using a simple example with the container and another container inside of this. Here I define the container type. So we are measuring the inline size and what do we want to do? Yeah, we want to style the font size based on the container size. So if I raise the container here, not the viewport, so the container, I can have the font size based on the container. So this is the property or the declaration here. The font size, clamping at least at 3 rems, and with a maximum of 100 VW, so 100% of the viewport width, and the base between is a container unit, container query unit. So 15% of the container, this is my font size, and so we can have based on the container this, maybe we call it a stable font size. So I think this is wow. Another example, I can switch again. So yeah. So, but I told you we are getting, and we got another great additions to the browser. And the next one is the cascade layers with the add layer root definition. So what is cascade layers? What is add layer? The cascade, I think that's a great feature, but some developers, some of you had maybe some issues with the cascade, and something will be fixed today, but it is also a great feature in the future. So what and where are the layers? We have different. We have today different layers where the cascade is calculated what style is now the right one, and so we are getting the layers between the specificity and the order, and that looks something like this. And we can have with the cascade layer a controlling of the cascade ordering for the same region properties. So what does it mean? Maybe you had issues in the past with some third party or some CSS which comes later in the style, in the rendering, and overwriting some of the styles you had defined before. And with cascade layers, with add layer, we can control this ordering. So we can define which rules are at what place, and which rules can overwriting other rules. So I have an example here, and you should remember this one. And this one is important. The first definition of the order here. And in this example, we have reset styles, we have base styles, and we have theming styles. And here are the container, so-called, or the spacing where you write these styles. But the order is important to define at the beginning. So yeah, here you can open or you can write another layer at the end of a file or maybe in another file, but the ordering which is defined at the beginning is this stays the same, right? And this is a great feature for styles that come later or through third party and so on and so on. So a real world example. So if you have an H1 declaration with a color, you define a color with the value Rebecca purple, and later on you're writing another rule set with H1 and overriding the first definition. This would be the case for today. Writing, but with cascade layers, you can define cascade layers, so more the boxes where you are writing the styles for specific elements, and the important thing is that what you had defined first is that what rules them all. So this one, it is defined in the first place, the special, but special comes after the base definition. So this is the other way around, and the text is in this case purple. So no more later overriding issues. Speaking of colors, we are getting new color spaces and new color functions. I think not this year, but maybe next year. So I have to change this year number here to 2023. But some of the color spaces are already there. And what are color space? Nowadays, we are mostly working in the RGB color space or the sRGB color space, but we have different color spaces, and one of the color spaces, the lab color space, which means this is the color space we can see as a human being. So this triangle here, which is Adobe RGB color space, is only a part of the colors that we as human can see, and important noted, and display can display. So we have high definition displays these days in smartphones or laptops, which supports these new color spaces, and now we're getting a color space definition in CSS that we can make use of these color spaces. So a lot of these coming. So there's an HWB color space. There's the lab color space, which I'm talking about. This is the same color space as the LCH, and these are the color space we can see as a human. There are another CSS definition with a color function notation, and we are getting also the possibility to mix colors in CSS, which was possible with SAS preprocessor in the past, but we are getting these features in browsers, well, maybe next year. So as an example, what is possible today, we can for sure use progressive enhancement. We have the media query where we can query if this display has a dynamic range high, so HDR display, and for this definition we can use the color function with a this is a display specific keyword here, a display property. And the notation is a little bit tricky. You can't see what color is this, and this is a thing we have to learn in the next few years, what color looks like if we change here some of the values. So, and if you want to use the lab color function, you can also query if the browser supports this, and setting a new color with the color definition in the lab color space, so that if the browser and the display supporting this new color space, the user sees a neon glowing green color. So ACH or the lab color space that gives us about 50% more of the colors. As I told you, there are more and more colors that the human being can see, but older displays and the CSS definitions, the RGB definitions, and the HSL doesn't support. So we will see more colors in the future. And some more additions to the color spacings, and what is special about is the O-key LAB or O-key ACH. What does it mean, O-key? O-key ensures that some of the colors are not out of bounds and really had a is displayable or had a contrast ratio that is okay, and that's why it's called OK lab or OK ACH. And maybe it's not really great to see via the stream or the screens, but maybe you can see this example later on if you're clicking through the slides on your screens. Here a comparison between color gradient in the OK lab color space and the RGB color space, and maybe you can see some differences here. There are peaks in the button image here and in the blue ranges, or in the turquoise greenish, and also here in the red space here on the left hand side. So the same color definitions for a gradient, but in a different color space, gives us a more smooth gradient in the OK lab color space compared to the RGB color space, and that's, I think, really nice. Another feature is the readability of the colors. For sure, we have to learn it, we have to remember it, and maybe it needs some time, but maybe it is really logical sometimes for us if we using it day by day. So here are 4 boxes with different colors. So this is a light purple, so the first color box here with the OK ACH color function, 57% of the lightness, and so there are numbers I don't want to talk about specifically, but comparing these differences here. So if we want to make it a little bit darker, the same color, we are decreasing the lightness of this one, or we are, if you want to make it more faded, we are decreasing the chroma value. We stay here at the same hue level. So, and if we want to, based on this first one, if we want to using the complementary color, we are only using the hue value and the so-called other side of the color wheel. So maybe new and a little bit strange, but I think in the future, if we working with it, it's more readable than maybe a hex color. Yeah. So, and if you want to use it today, there is a color picker. So make sure you have high definition screen so that you can see the differences for the color. But what makes special here about this color picker is that if you pick a color in a outside RGB color space, you're getting the closest RGB fallback color, and so you can ensure that that users that don't support the newest color functions also have a nice pink or purple pink color. And there's also a post CSS plugin, therefore you can use it today, and post CSS ensures that you have the right color for the right display. So, and one last feature, we stay a little bit on the color side, color fonts. So color fonts, what are color fonts? And I have to switch again in the browser that really supported color fonts. Oh, see, my Firefox Nightly does support color fonts too now. Oh, that's new to me. I think it's a new addition to the Firefox. Make sure, yes, this is the Edge one. So what do you see here? Fonts, crazy font, 3D font with color definitions, and where's the animation? Here's the animation. Not only the wobbling of the letters, but also the colors, changes through the animation here. So this is maybe a fancy new edition, maybe a whoa, what's this? Oh no. But I think I can imagine we can see maybe some of these examples in the future more and more. So a little example further on, what the font have to support these features so that we can override the colors or the parts of the font glyph or font character. So here's a little example. Also a color font with different parts, and this is I don't want to explain it too deep, but we have a new add property at font palette values, giving it a name with a dash like the custom properties. Here are some override colors. This is a little bit freaky. But you have to remember or try out what part is overridable and what not. This is a thing font providers or font providers have to explain a little bit more which part are overridable. But you can use it like this with a font palette property, and here is the custom. It is not a custom property, but it is a custom definition. Say CSS is getting really crazy. So, and look if it works here on the live screen. Yeah. So there are fancy things, and it stays text. I can imagine some designers will getting crazy in the next year and showing us some designs with fancy features. CSS color fonts. So yeah, that's the last one, and we are getting more features, some little tweaks, some little features, but I think these are really great and will make the web fancier, I think, and much more powerful, and we don't have to use graphics, JavaScript. There's a lot of things we can do in CSS in the future. So, and that's what I want to show today. So thanks for your attention, and thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Sven. That's really great. I'm really also like totally. I really like the development which happened in the last years in CSS. Seems like many things we have been waiting for like the last 20 years or so. It seems like, and many topics are around like kind of parent-child relationship, right? So where you as like a child node want to find out like what is my surrounding, like in terms of, for example, container queries. Or where you as a like parent container want to know what's inside and base your styling on this, and we kind of were used to come up with, for example, like this ends child selector, like subways where we find out our context we are in, right? And now going like from a higher level into a deeper level, this is really, like you said, I mean, it's working more and more in all browsers. It requires no JavaScript tags or something, and also the CSS is really compact. And this is like, I'm already waiting for some before after comparison performance investigations, right? Because also this will affect, of course, the overall rendering performance if less CSS is delivered or bundled. And the browsers do it natively without like interpreting big chunks of CSS or reading some third-party JavaScript who tries to make it work in the process. I really also see like this interop initiative from the major browsers. They have speed up things a lot in the last few years, I would say, and yeah, that's really awesome stuff. Yeah. And what's like maybe question from my side? I wanted to ask you this in the beginning already. What is, if you should choose one of these topics, what is your like most awesome topic of these? Which about you are excited the most?
Yeah, the container queries for sure.
No.
Not only that we can query the container size, so we are getting the style queries, style kind of queries. So we can ask in the future if the container has style XY and style the childs differently based on this query. And this is another talk for next year, I think.
Yeah.
But this is a really, really promising and a great addition. We don't have to, make a JavaScript hex or something else. So we can everything what layout and styling based make in CSS, and not only the container queries. Chrome working on another feature like animation based on scroll height or something like this. Everything we had to do with JavaScript now, we have to wait till it's finalized and implemented in other browsers, but there are coming more and more of the features.
Yeah, I can think of like the page transition API, for example, right, which allows also super fast transitions between pages, even in single page apps, for example. And yeah, this is also awesome. Like I would say now it's up on us as well, as like kind of consultants to also tell the designers or UX people in general what's possible, because I think the last years we sometimes complained about this is not possible, this takes longer, it's complex, it doesn't work in this and this browser, and things are getting easier. And even like when I take a look at this crazy font stuff, I mean, we need to find, of course, a right balance between what is possible and what is looking nicely, and but having the opportunity is really great. And
the color fonts had one root. I want to say this is based on the so-called problems with emojis. We had a lot of emojis these days, the color emojis, and not all emojis are available in every platform. So, for example, Twitter or WhatsApp or what else? Some other making their own icons or emojis and images for every emoji, or skin tones and what else, and with the color font properties, you can have a vector-based glyph or character, and can style it much more efficient and making more smaller fonts in this case, emoji fonts, and ship less of the fonts or the size is not that much as these days. And this one is one of the roots of the color fonts definitions, and for sure you can imagine other possibilities. And I remember a talk at the Beyond Tellerrand conference from Ulrike Rausch about brush script font. where she told us that is the older color font specific definition where for every glyph is an image inside the font. So it's a ball pen glyph with a blue color, and you can't change the color of the font. So you can use it as a blue ball pen handwriting brush script. So, but you can change the color. So if you want to make it black or red, you can't. It is based on an image, and the image is with a blue ball pen. So, and I think the newer features with the color fonts, there are possibilities for such additions that you can then style the images in inside the font with different color, and that gives us a lot of possibilities.
And all the time while being compatible or like allowing the user still to select like the text, right? And being accessible, like the text is scalable and all this, no strange replacement or image even needed, right? This is really awesome. Yeah. I also I think we can take a look at the questions in the chat. For example, related to this, I can also think of like in the context of accessibility, the whole thing with this color improvements gives us a lot more opportunities, right? To if, for example, if you have like a color which is like maybe not having a big contrast, or like we want to change some aspects maybe based on this color scheme or dark mode, things like this, right? We would not need to define a new color in that term, but just derive it from the new color functions, right? Did you come across like this topic with accessibility and colors?
Yes, there's a new color function, the color contrast. There was on the screen, but I don't told much about it because this is delayed in the next iteration of the color. But this is really promising. Based on a SAS, you can do a contrast check with two colors. I had an example where did a website with different football logos, and based on the color of the football logo and the text above the what was it above the not directly on the logo, but the main color were used as a background, and the name were displayed as text. And based on the background color of the logos, the text were black or white. If it's the contrast is too low for white, we switch to black. So this was made with SAS in the old days, and we can do this in CSS in the future. That's really great. And we can define not only if it's the one or the other color, we can make the browser chooses the right color. I can not only have two colors, I can have a set of colors, and the browser chooses the right color based on the accessibility, how's it called, AAA contrast value, and that's really great in the future to have this all in the browser.
Okay, let's take a look at some questions or comments. Yes, container queries is expected to come to grow really soon, like you said. I think it will come this year. Yeah, more order to cascade cannot harm. I think you would agree on this. Specificity wars back then, some of us remember.
Important.
Yeah, and in general, I mean, has is a godsend, right? This is wonderful.
I think we don't grab the possibilities has for us. Has.
Yeah. And yeah, also Radislav says, yeah, he will slightly overuse it at first because enthusiastic about the new thing, and then like with all the new things, you will try to find occasions where you try it out, and maybe it's not everywhere necessary, but it's just like so cool that you just can't stop yourself, right?
Yeah, and I did find some examples I have in a workshop for this topic where I compare the has notation and with what we can do today, and maybe some things what we have in mind that only can do has is possible with similar or other CSS features these days. I had some examples like focus within, so styling the form element or the form container based if the focus is within. So for example, form has focus, so some inputs inside the form has the focus, so the user want to type in something, and you style the form, the background differently. As example, it reads like form has, but there's also focus within pseudo selector. So this is possible today in older browsers too. But maybe for some of us is it easier to read and write this element has this. So
exactly.
But it's totally fine, and we said that we want to experiment a lot of possibilities in the next few weeks, years.
Cool. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned already. It's color contrast is in the making, so to say. But it's maybe expected to come in spring next year or so. I'm not sure.
You can activate color contrast in the Safari preview as a flag,
feature flag experiment,
and can test it. Maybe I can find an example. Maybe you can send via Twitter an example link, and you can open it in Safari preview. May I have a look in the current Safari if there is a feature flag? Yes, it's also in the current Safari version a feature flag for color contrast and color mix. You can test it in Safari if you have Safari.
Cool. So get your hands dirty already on this to be prepared when it's implemented. Cool. Okay, I think there are no more questions in the chat. Maybe some last minute question entered now. Otherwise, I mean, you are approachable via Twitter, and we'll share your slides as well, right? So
yeah,
there are some cool links in your presentation you can catch up with later. And yes, thanks also from my side. And by the way, we asked in the beginning, from which location did you all join? So Belgium was here. That's really awesome. Then, like, of course, RheinMain. That's where we are originally located. But also Czechia. This is really cool. And Istanbul.
Oh, cool. Oh.
That's really nice. So hope you all join us in the next event on YouTube. And as I mentioned in the beginning, we will have another on-site meetup finally after I think 3 years or so at the end of this month. So stay tuned, and we'll keep you updated on this. And yeah, thanks again from my side as well. It was an awesome talk to have to get a great overview on this stuff and to get really enthusiastic on these things. Yeah, and if you wanna have a chance to take a look on Sven's talk, then just join the CT Web Dev conference. I think your talk will be in German then. Yeah, and maybe then we could see each other there as well.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it for this evening. Thanks for the cool questions from the audience, the comments. Glad that you liked it. And now we call it a day and can start with fancy CSS stuff tomorrow, right? Cool. Then
Okay.
See you all in the next event. And thanks again, Sven. Bye.
Goodbye.